The Very Serious Crafts podcast is on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/seriouscrafts to support our podcast, find out about our Patreon half-stitched episodes, and more.
Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 6 of the Very Serious Crafts podcast. I'm Molly from Wild Olive.
And I'm Haley from Red Handled Scissors and the Bones and Bobbins podcast. Today we'll be talking about paper cutting in all its forms.
Or at least some of its forms.
I was going to
Bunch
say,
of its forms.
hopefully not getting paper cuts because that's miserable.
No, we don't want that.
Yes, no. I'm going to back away slowly from that. I'm always getting mysterious paper cuts.
Yeah, and often from things that you wouldn't expect to get the paper cut from, right? Like
tinfoil.
Yeah, or a cardboard box. Like, how did I do that?
Cardboard box paper cuts
They're
are the worst.
Awful.
Yeah. Anyway, before we go any further into that nightmare, we want to give a shout out to our serious friends of the Very Serious Crafts podcast who are supporting us at patreon.com/seriouscrafts. Many thanks to all of you. You're the best. And if you don't happen to be a member, there is a huge back catalog of bonus episodes, and they would be available to you for supporting us. So, if you want to hang out with us more, you should.
So, first of all, before we start talking about paper cutting, I just wish that everyone listening could smell the smells in my house right now, because someone is baking, I think, some quick bread, and I just have to share that it's really good. So if you hear me drooling while recording, that's why. Apologies. I hope that no one can ever hear anyone drooling. That would be the worst. But
ew. But also,
you can imagine, right? You can imagine the smell.
I want some.
Yeah. All right. Well, in things that are, they don't smell as good, but they do bring a sense of that satisfaction. Well, first of all, back at the end of the last season, I mentioned that paper cutting was going to need to come up as a topic on the podcast. And that is especially thanks to my sister Anna, who sent me a link to a TED Talk by an artist named Beatrice Caron. And she is she does paper cutting primarily, but she branches into other mediums, but still in the style of her paper cuts. And she, in this TED Talk, which I will link in the show notes because it's worth watching. And again, she comes at this from an artist's perspective, and it's wonderful to take in, and especially how she uses story as part of her paper cuts. But she walks out onto the stage wearing a full-length Tyvek cape that has been paper cut with these storytelling imagery, and it's just remarkable. It's also brilliant that she has made it out of Tyvek, because of course that's not going to tear the way that trying to make it out of regular paper would, which
that weirdly will last.
Yeah. Already kind of blows your mind though that she's cutting Tyvek, which if you've ever worked with it, it is so slippery that I'm already amazed at her skills just from that. But
absolutely.
The level of detail that she puts into her paper cuts, which of course she also gives a little bit of the history of the word silhouette and paper cutting in general, and artists' books
Kirigami
and things. Yeah, she explains some of these things, but so paper cutting, you automatically lose some detail because of the nature of cutting silhouettes and keeping it all joined together. But it's still really, really detailed and amazing. So
Yeah.
go and make sure that you take in at least some of her TED Talk, because it's amazing. And I just thought, all right, let's talk about cutting paper and making things like this. Like I did it's almost really it's definitely funny to go from talking about a hand cut Tyvek cape to the paper cutting project that I most recently did, which was very simple cutouts to make Christmas, or not Christmas, winter holiday puns. So there was Christmas, but there was also Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and New Year's and solstice and stuff. But they were simple, and so that I could make patterns to give and let kids make them.
Mm-hmm.
But even simple paper cutting like that, it's just not an easy thing. You really have to know what you're doing.
And one tiny slip and the whole thing is like, nope.
Exactly.
And that really freaks me out. Like, that's some high stakes work.
Yeah. And so, like, Beatrice Caron, she often will work on long pieces that are like scrolls, and so she'll have it out on a table, and she shows a video of her like working all sped up. And I'm not sure if she works with you couldn't tell. She didn't. I wish that they had shown, or she had shown more of her process of like actually doing the cutting, less about the story. But that was not really the focus of the TED Talk. But I wanted to see more of it like in action. But like I couldn't tell how much she used like a knife versus scissors.
Well, I'm looking at specifically some contemporary paper cutting artists on My Modern Met, and it seems that there are specific kinds of paper that are often used, and it looks like a lot of these people only use X-Acto knives.
Which, I mean, it makes sense, because that's like a different kind of control. You can work on it flat. You know, you don't risk the, like, you know, folding at points and, you know, cutting out small areas that way. That would be helpful. But that's still well, see, now I've gone to My Modern Met, and there on the homepage they show you a paper quilling artist that is different paper craft, but gorgeous, really beautiful, very different.
I just dropped a link into the show notes.
Okay.
That is a paper sculpture that is natural organism based by it's called The Magic Circle. Yeah, by Rogan Brown. And apparently his work is a combination of hand and laser cuts.
Okay.
And I could stare at it for hours.
Well, yeah.
And I will definitely link to that in the show notes, because what?
It is so delicate. Well, and that's, I think, delicate. That's even like the Tyvek cape. It's still going to be delicate. It's less delicate because it's Tyvek, but like the fine details and the way that it the layers on this piece are astounding.
They look like air.
Yeah.
Like almost just wisps of smoke that have ended up in that shape.
Yeah,
sort of reminds me of dropping dye into water almost.
Yeah, or like when you like make a wish on a dandelion, and all of the tiny little, it looks soft. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it does look really, really soft. Oh, wow. I really like both the organisms and like human anatomical paper
Yeah.
cutting, but I just came across this artist named Masayo Fukada, who made this cephalopod that has just kind of broken my brain.
Okay.
And this apparently, historically, it has been kirigami that paper cutting instead of folding is referred to as. And modern versions of this are just mind-blowing. I'm going to drop this link in the show notes so you can see this cephalopod that I think will also break your brain.
Okay.
You know those marble statues where they have like gossamer veils and you can see through,
Yes.
like, it looks like fabric, and it is deeply unclear how they managed to do that, like with transparency and stuff. This is like that.
Yeah. Okay, side note, this is also about my sister that got this topic happening. First of all, the cephalopod, wow.
Right?
I don't even understand. Okay. But side note about the statues or ceramic type figures. We knew someone who collected pieces like that, and she had in her home a bust of the Virgin Mary that she had carried home from Italy, like personally carried home from Italy, with a veil that was like that. And the process for this is literally taking fabric, dipping it in the, ceramic coating, and then when it's fired, the inside, the fabric part disintegrates, and it's left with just the ceramic, which is not, it's lacy, right? It's see-through, but that's how they do it. But
that's cool. Well, not in like marble carving.
No, not in marble, right? But in like ceramic
ceramics.
Ones, right?
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So, but what that means is it's very, very delicate. And so if your little sister were to go up and want to see how it feels and they touch it with their finger,
oh no,
they might just stick their whole finger right through. And hopefully your friend is very understanding and does not say that you need to pay for replacing said piece of sculpture.
Yeah. My heart just stopped when you said that. Oh,
yeah, that's
goodness.
Classic story there. Anyway, but I would imagine that you would feel that way about these delicate paper cuts, is that you probably, I would think that you could very easily stick your finger through it. It would just fall apart. And yet here they are holding it in their hands to show it off.
I mean, I would be terrified to have one of these pieces in my home.
Yeah.
Even if, mounted and protected and such, because just like the vibration of living in New York City,
yes,
I feel like would destroy these.
This whole article that you found, though, is absolutely gorgeous because it has paper cutting from around the world.
Yeah,
love it.
I think my favorite little tidbit that I stumbled upon while looking into paper cutting is paper cutting always reminds me of like woodcuts.
Yeah.
And apparently Hans Christian Andersen made paper cuts. He was an enthusiast for paper cutting, and I guess is quoted to have said in, let's see which, in a letter that he wrote in July of 1867, he said that paper cutting is the prelude to writing.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so the Hans Christian Andersen Museum in Denmark has a collection of his paper cuttings.
That's amazing. I also like the section on this in this article about India that is fascinating is that so in India they will make these rangolis with powdered dye, and
Yes, which is beautiful.
it's beautiful. My sister, wow, she comes up in this episode a lot. I don't know how that has
Maybe
happened.
we should have invited
We
her
should
to
have.
join us.
She at a school where she used to teach, one of the other teachers or assistant teachers would always make a rangoli on the floor for Diwali, and it was, I would always see photos and they're beautiful, and she was making those by hand. But what this article talks about is how they often will use paper cut stencils to make these really intricate designs, and I didn't know that. I'd never seen ones that are quite this detailed before, and it makes absolute sense.
Yeah, I saw one being created at Maker Faire probably a decade ago when I was working for Craft and Make.
Yeah.
And there were stencils used in that. And they were far more detailed than I would have expected, and they lasted way longer than I would have expected. Like, they were in the middle of a thoroughfare. But it was just so cool. And I'm really glad that because it was a work thing, I had to be there early enough to see it, at least the end of it, happening. Because, wow.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It's a very cool thing. But yeah, now I want to see more examples of ones with these very intricate stencils, because you can tell from the example here that it's not that huge. So that means they're working very small. It's really impressive.
Don't think that I knew that traditionally they were on water.
Yeah, I don't think that I knew that either.
And so the thing we're looking at is a paper cut on water filled in with these dyed powders.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Yeah, it's...
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in when you think about how that actually happens. It's actually kind of humbling to look at these things, because you just think of how little you know about a lot of things. And it's beautiful to learn. So,
yeah, I love falling down, or I guess stumbling upon a path that leads to so many different things that I hadn't thought about. My brother-in-law is a professional who plays early music, and specifically instruments like the cornetto and theorbo and flutes.
yeah.
Things like that. And he is extremely talented. And a couple of summers ago, probably more than a couple since the pandemic has paused time, he was spending the summer, my father-in-law's a violin maker, and so Nathaniel, my brother-in-law, was spending the summer working in the violin studio with his dad, just, to see if that was a path he wanted to go down.
Uh-huh.
And so he built a lute.
As one does.
Like you do. Yes, so he was briefly a luthier. But the point when I saw the process was when he was cutting out the rosette. So you know how guitars have the opening in the
where
center?
the strings go over and yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, so do lutes.
Yeah.
But they usually have really intricate wooden, very, very, very thin wooden cutouts.
Yeah.
And that's all done by hand. And
Sure.
so my brother-in-law was, for the first time, I believe, doing this very intricate 17th century wood rosette carving on super thin wood with obviously paper on top with an X-Acto knife. And it was very much this. And I was so stressed out on his behalf that I just noped right on out of there. But it was really cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. Well, that's one time I was at Disney World, and I was actually at Disney Springs, so like the shopping area near Disney related to them. And there was, one of the little specialty carts where you can buy all manner of, each cart has its own thing. And this one particularly was for having silhouettes made. And the way that they are done is they hire a very skilled artist to run that cart. So they are your salesperson and your paper cutter. And this woman just stood there and looked at the person and cut out a perfect silhouette of them.
That is just so impressive.
It was like magic. And
wow.
And my dad had a whole conversation with her because that's what my dad does when we're anywhere. And
your dad and my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And talked about other people that she knows that it's a very specific field of doing that kind of silhouette cutting, and the people all know each other because of that, and it was fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
But she just cut out a perfect silhouette of someone that she had never seen before. And
that kind of spatial awareness is truly a skill.
Yeah. And then combine it with an understanding of a mastery of the tools and materials, because paper does things. And if you cut at the wrong angle, you can tear it, you can overcut, you can make a mess of it and wrinkle it. It's all of the things. And it's amazing.
Yeah. Being able to do that with accuracy and speed.
Yeah. And it's small too. This person was making a silhouette that was probably 4 to 5 inches tall.
I really wish that more people had experience making things that require skill.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot more appreciation should be given to artists in those situations with those skills, because they are I feel like everyone should be mind-blowingly impressed.
Yeah.
And they're probably not.
Yeah.
I feel like that would make me throw people in a swamp. Being Disney World.
Disney, there was a clean body of water nearby, so clean-ish. So you could at least do that,
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to throw somebody where the alligators are.
No, but like the giant Lego sea serpent, that would
Yeah.
be okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
No,
that's fine.
I don't want to ruin your day.
No.
I just want to make you mildly uncomfortable for a little
Exactly.
while in Florida.
Exactly. Speaking of Disney, though, switching gears from this person that hand cut stuff, then we get into the realm of like cutting machines and all of that.
Yes.
And I
Oh my goodness. I just realized that my cousin-in-law, Brittany, makes intricate storytelling 3D paper cut art. And I had,
oh
like, with lighting and all sorts
oh
of things, and I had completely forgotten until just this moment.
that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if she has an online presence. She's, I think, known in the cosplay world.
Oh, okay. That's
Her name is
cool.
Pierson-Cox, I think.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if that
You
is
know, yeah.
her last name. I do know her name.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, that just occurred to me at that exact moment. I'll see if I can find some of her work.
But yeah, so I kind of have a mixed bag relationship with cutting machines for a variety of reasons. But there is a designer who I always love her stuff, and she does a ton of Disney themed pieces.
Yeah.
Like patterns that she just gives away for free because Disney. But her website is Designs by Miss Mandy, MANDEE.com.
Mm-hmm.
And she does some, especially like I don't always feel like I know what to do with these beautiful designs. Like if I were to make something, like what would I do? How would I make it? What would it, all of the things. But I especially love that she does these paper cut pieces that either become like paper lanterns so that you can have them with vellum behind so that they glow and it is making these scenes from Disney films. Or she recently made I think it was an Encanto inspired like house scene, but she will make like the castles and all of these things. And you know, it's got all of the different layers to it, and sometimes it's like the lanterns are always done in one color. Other things she does it in multiple colors and it gets all layered. Absolutely fascinating stuff.
That's cool.
Not how my brain works when it comes to cutting machines, whether it's cutting paper or vinyl or any other things. I have done so few things. I own 2 paper cutting machines, both of which were gifted to me for different realms and reasons. I always struggle with them. This is where I feel like a Luddite. I just like cutting I will cut stuff out by hand even if it takes longer than I know it would have taken by just doing it on the cutting machine. Largely because setting the whole thing up always stresses me out, I think.
Oh yeah. That makes complete sense to me. It's sort of like similar to hand sewing for me. I feel like I have more control even if I for sure do not have more control.
Well, and I think, you know, just like machine sewing, if I were to spend more time using my cutting machines, I would get more comfortable with certain processes. But like the last thing that I did, I made like a tag and a bookmark that was basically pre-punched to do cross stitch through it, which was I really liked the way it looked. It came and it was a cool way to do it, and I probably will try making more things like it. But I'm not comfortable enough with even like the different types of materials to put on the cutting mat and how like which cutting mat I should really be using. And so then I ended up with some things that weren't cut as well, and then other things where it was like starting to peel off the back of the paper on the cutting mat, and I'm not proficient in it. And it seems like I
am
should
not
be.
great at it either.
It seems like it should be a certain amount of just like, oh yeah, you just do the thing. But it really isn't even there, you know?
No, it's definitely not. I am weirdly fascinated with laser cutters.
Like a glow forge or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That can do just perfect, tiny, ridiculous things that I do not understand how that can happen.
Yes, those I know a couple people who have them, and they have made some very cool things with them.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, just to brag for a moment, but the Lemonade Shop, who does hand-dyed yarns and then also makes some very cute stitch markers to go with them, I designed some little characters for her because I also did her logo, and those characters have been made into teeny tiny stitch markers, and it's so cool. It's so cool to have something that I drew as a laser cut acrylic stitch marker.
All right, that's awesome.
It's a very fun thing.
That's really cool. I think the only time I've ever actually really encountered laser cut stuff, it was oh goodness, I'm not sure if I'm actually allowed to talk about it. A person, I was in a salon type group, was a designer of castles for a certain very large brand.
That might use castles.
A lot.
Okay.
And sent us all a prototype of the paper castle to build.
Oh, cool.
As it was being developed, and it was a pretty famous castle.
Nice.
And it was awesome. And the whole point of this group was that every month one of us would teach a skill or bring a project.
Yeah.
And send actual mail to everyone else with what they needed. And so the perfection of detail on a prototype broke my brain.
Yeah. That is very cool.
Well, should we, oh my goodness, I was going to say wrap it up, and it's a dad joke.
Paper! Wrap it up!
I made the dad joke.
You did,
time.
But I'm going to get right in there because I think we're going to need to cut you off. Oh dear.
Boo. Also, yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the Very Serious Crafts podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Serious Crafts, and on Facebook at Very Serious Crafts. You can also find show notes and all things Very Serious Crafts at veryseriouscrafts.com. And finally, if you're a fan of the Very Serious Crafts podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts, because good ratings help us show up in recommendations, which helps more people who love crafting find us.
Indeed.
Yay!
And right on cue, a thunderstorm is coming outside my window, so...
I just saw it's a light green.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the whole room went dark and the thunder started, so nice. A good place to end. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye!